We go where we wilt. We slay who we wilt. Let the Emperor judge the righteousness of our deeds.
Hello everyone, I'm Blessed Spartan, I'm back like herpes and I've got something different for you guys today. We have a 1v1 on Ashes of Typhon. Now rather than what I would usually do, where I would basically commentate on what players can do better, I'm actually going to try my hand at actually casting a game, rather than pausing midway through the games, and I'll save that just for rites of initiation, which you guys can check out on Monday. I've got quite a few games up already of those, about I think 9 episodes, almost on my 10th, you guys can check that out. But before we start, I've got a few announcements to make. I love this map, I really love that. Look at that lava. Anyway, sorry, distracted. Got a few announcements to make. I won't be actually casting the tournament tomorrow. We've got the September monthly Rumble tournament tomorrow at 5 PM GMT or BST time, which is a bit of summertime. You can check out your time zone on world clock, whatever the hell it's called. And it's going to be a great turnout. We've got 32 players, however I won't be casting because I am actually one of those 32 players, and I've got Tex in the final round. Oh goodness. But you guys can check that out and wish me luck, and hopefully I'll get to the final and destroy everyone. Lol. Anyway, now before we start this, I want to note this is actually something different. This is Dawn of War Retail Retribution, Dawn of War Retribution, and not Elite. So keep in mind that when you see some units that look completely different, the reason for that is that Torpid player, one of my good friends actually, very high level, recommended this to me, and it's always nice, you know, to see that different people on the game. And since Retail unfortunately has a kind of a larger player base at the moment, because people are too scared to move over to Elite for whatever reason, I recommend you do go check out Master's anniversary video that he put up. It's 40 minutes long, but it's really good. Go check that out, and he basically gives a little insight to his feelings about Dawn of War too, so I do recommend you check that out. But anyway, enough ado, let us introduce the players. In the blue corner we have a worshipping Chaos Lord in the form of Torpid, or Torpid in the form of the Chaos Lord, and he's going to be playing against Farzo, or Farzo, I can't pronounce his name, Farzo, the Eldar Warlord player. And this is going to be Ashes of Typhon, and I don't know who wins this game. It's my first time watching it, so let's check it out. So already the Chaos Lord using Worship there to boost his Chaos Lord out of the park. He's actually quite slow, so as you can see his movement speed, I think it's like 3.5 or something ridiculous like that. So that's why he uses Corn Worship to get out. Always nice to see players using Good Luck, Have Fun, be polite. And we have both players going for their power point and the victory point instead. Now usually I would cap this point with my scouts and this point with my leader, and I send my tactical marines to come over and support over here, or sometimes go down the middle. But this is very interesting that both of these players are hitting this point. Torpid actually opting not to cap this requisition point, while Farzo's Guardians, actually called Guardians in Retail, are capping this requisition point. So we'll see that Torpid actually looks like he's going for more aggressive capping order at the moment, while Farzo is going for more what's it called, defensive and passive. Gonna send his units just capping rather than looking to like get into engagements early on. And this Chaos Lord is moving up here towards the middle, towards the centre, should I say, going to, looks like he's going to try and put some harassment on this victory point. He now knows the squad's there, so by looking at his mini-map he can see that he'll probably be running to engagement soon, so it's pretty good that he's used his hero, since he can basically deal with any early tier 1 unit that the Eldar pushes out. Now he did take a bit of damage from, I think it was a structure shot, that he's lost energies from the Warlock, so the structure shot. And we actually do see a second Chaos Space Marine squad coming out. Chaos Space Marines are very effective against Dire Avengers, and we don't see any Banshees from Farzo, so already this build is going to be very effective, since Chaos Space Marines counter Dire Avengers, or Guardians rather. But we do see a setup team coming out from Farzo, which is going to put heavy amounts of pressure on these Chaos Space Marines. Players seem to be quite scared actually to get Chaos Space Marines, get setup teams versus the Chaos Lords, since he can't be suppressed. However, he does do it does still do quite a bit of damage towards him if he doesn't have these shields. So the full pressure not to get that is very effective, particularly the Eldar one, who was actually quite quick at setting up. Anyway, we see suppression coming down on these Chaos Space Marines. It's going to take not so much fire because they're quite far away from the firing arc. The closer a unit gets to the fire arc, the more damage it will take. But a combi flamer goes down. So combi flamer goes down from that Chaos Lord. It's 30 power and 120 requisition, and it does huge amounts of damage onto that Warlock. He's been upgraded with his Mercy Switchblade. Very effective against the Chaos Lord, particularly effective against the Sorcerer or units that use energy regardless. Particularly effective against the Apothecary as well. Takes energy, also doing power melee, which you can see from that glowing fist above his head, glowing icon. Now we have this Guardian squad capping around the back, decapping, and while these units are all bunched up together. Now the problem with Torpid's build is that because he doesn't have a second Heretic squad, he hasn't got a capping unit, which means that he basically has to commit these units to the fight, particularly now that he's upgraded that unit with a Heretic squad with a grenade launcher to defeat this weapon team. Now you're probably wondering, oh, why doesn't he get Raptors? Oh gosh, and that that Warlock does just go down to the Chaos Lords, which can kill the weak to knock back the squad. And Barrage goes down on those squads to prevent them from setting up and forces them off as well to the damage from those grenade launchers. Now, as I was saying, the reason why they don't actually use Raptors, why is not using Raptors? Because Raptors were introduced in the Elite mod and not in the Retribution, so that's why there are no Raptors. Using the Flame ability from his Combi Flamer to do huge amounts of damage to these generators. And again, grenades also, one of the members does get slapped by a Ranger squad which has come out. It's heavy, does piercing damage I believe, very quick, but also very squishy, just like a unit peppered with shots and instantly taken down using one member. Very good at breaking the morale of the actual player, and can pick up units very swiftly. That's why that Chaos Space Marine unit did just go down and fade to these Heretic squad need to be very careful. Luckily a sync kill goes off, slowing down that Warlock, preventing him from getting another member, and allowing the rest of the only 2 members to get out of there, luckily. And it looks like Torpid is going for a more power-based build. Hasn't spent much power, only on his hero and the grenade launchers, only spending resources when necessary, trying to get to tier 2 before Farzo, who has spent, I think these guys are ranges of 30 power. The setup team is 30 power. And Mercy Switchblade is also 30 power for 90 power, plus Champion's Robe, which is 25 power, I'm guessing. So 105 power already in tier 1, which means he'll be behind significantly while Torpid is already headed to tier 2. And unless he can take out these generators, Torpid is going to run rain when he gets a Blood Crusher or some kind of tier, maybe upgrades his Chaos Space Marines. We'll see what he does in tier 2. But despite that, Farzo has managed to cap the map using map control, using his units. That's the strength of having one extra capping squad. And since he hasn't upgraded either of them, he can swap between both of them, deciding, you know, which one do I want in engagement and which one do I want to go cap. I can't hear Rangers. And Chaos Lord getting really angry at this Ranger squad for shooting at him. Is taking quite a bit of damage from these guys, but probably going to want to finish off the cap. He can't really do much in this situation anyway, and he's just going to retreat back to base. Now, these Chaos Space Marines are probably going to have to go for a flank on this weapons team, but if Farzo is focusing, then he'll probably move it, noticing that this is an excellent flank point against him, and he is going to do that. He's going to move back here, so it basically shuts down. But in fact, surprisingly, he hasn't actually cut off this section, which I thought he was going to do, but never mind. Rangers take quite a bit of damage. This generator is probably going to go down, but like I said before, a Blood Crusher is going to come out onto the field now, which means that Torpid is going to be able to put a huge amount of pressure and even probably get a generator bash over here against Farzo. Barrage, no, that wasn't the barrage. Barrage going off now. Look at this, the normal attack from these grenade launchers. Unfortunately, the Chaos Space Marines weren't in there. Worship going down, but it might be out of range of the Chaos Lord, which means that he won't be able to get in there quick enough. Unfortunately, though, this Shuriken's weapon team wasn't actually focus firing the Chaos Lords and wasn't actually in the correct arc, which means that the Chaos Lord managed to get into there swiftly enough. We see a little battle going here. Chaos Lord going up against the Warlock. Has to use Kill the Weak. Warlock will beat him with his weapons he's actually using at the moment. Meanwhile, a Chaos Space Marine actually did lose a member during the battle. Heretics bled quite a bit, and that's another thing that's good about this build. I mean, instead of he basically swaps a aggressive. He basically swaps, I would say, you know, capping power for more durable units. Heretics, while they are numerous and very effective, they also bleed you like crap. So you can prevent that by getting a Aspiring Champion, but they do bleed quite quickly, particularly in retail. But they are a lot more effective in retail than they are in Elite Edition. Now, unfortunately, those guys take quite a bit of damage from the knockback in the but from the Blood Crusher's charge ability. I'm not sure if that actually, I think that's been changed in Elite mod. I don't think that actually affects them anymore. Retreat knockback doesn't actually affect, or ability knockback doesn't actually affect retreating units anymore, except for nukes. I'm not entirely sure, I can't actually remember, but if someone can clarify that for me later. This Warlock being brave against this Blood Crusher, probably not going to do huge amounts of damage, but he is doing some damage, as you can see, due to the fact that he has power melee. His reticle has disappeared, unfortunately. I'm not too sure why, but I think that will get back. But his entire build is like disappeared. I think that's just happened in replays. We do see the Wraith Lord, coming out for Farzo. And we do see Kill the Galaxy burn from the armor of the Inferno, and the Chaos Lord doing knocking back and doing burning damage, flame damage to those units. Also go back to base. It also hangs around for quite a bit, so anything that walks through this will actually take quite damage, especially if they stay there. This is actually given time for Torpid to actually destroy these good rays. Hasn't upgraded his Chaos Space Marines with any marks, or given them the Eternal War upgrade either. But also, one thing to note, one change is that these shooting weapon streams can't be upgraded with Bright Launch. They have to, Bright Launch, you actually have to purchase an entire new unit for that reason. Something to also keep in mind if you are looking to play retail or, you know, just practice. Ranked games are a really good way to just practice the game. Obviously, there will be quite a few changes in Elite mode from retail, but it is really still helpful. I don't think you should rule it out completely, particularly as there's a larger player base, and you can still use some strategies in retail for Elite. Now these trying to use these Guardians managed to fleet of foot out of there. A big shot from Let the Galaxy Burn. However, these Avengers managed to get out of there. Guardians managed to get out of there. They're taking any damage. Now this Combi Flamer has basically made this Chaos Lord into a range unit, which means that he will be putting pressure on these capping units. That squad actually has been upgraded because aspect or battle equipment. But they probably won't take any damage, they probably won't lose a member, and that Chaos Lord needs to be very careful. But we do see a Chaos Dreadnought on the field being upgraded with the Mark of Tzeentch. Walk unit for the Chaos Army can be upgraded with Mark of Tzeentch and the Mark of Khorne. Mark of Khorne gives it a 2 Power Fists, or 2 Power Fists in the Chaos Army. But Mark of Tzeentch gives it a missile launcher, which is very effective against infantry and heavy infantry and other forces as well. But we do see Wraith Guards on the field, slow set up weapons. Actually don't actually need, either effects weapons or AoE weapons as well. They actually don't, they're like a setup team, very slow, but they don't actually need to set up. However, they can be upgraded with a Warlock, as you saw there, which allows them to move faster and also protects them in melee. Rangers there, probably gonna manage to get out there without taking any more losses. This squad over here, Wraith Lord over here going up against the Chaos Dreadnought, but however it's going to take a huge amount of damage from the Bloodletter and the Chaos Dreadnought. It's going to try and get out there, but it's going to be too late. It isn't going to make it. Bloodletter is very quick. Unless these guys path block each other, it's not going to manage to get out there safely. And without any support, that Wraith Lord is going to go down. And there it goes. Probably should have stood in the battle, probably tried to put some pressure on the Blood Crusher, and that would have forced a heal or some repair from these heretics who were standing around doing nothing. Unfortunately, it did go down.
You may fail us
and Farzo is going to go for a Bright Lance. So things are really looking better for Torpid, despite not having that much map control in this engagement, which Eldar excel at and Chaos Space Marines struggle with. He is managing to take back the map. Now, one of the things I want to comment on is that people complain about Chaos not having much map control, and I believe that's due to the fact that they actually need to win engagements before they can cap the map, unlike other races who can, for example, Space Marines, who can cap the map while in engagements. They don't actually need all the units to win. That's what purpose scouts is. That's what having double scouts actually gives you. But anyway, Chaos Space Marine. This Bright Launch is now on the field, going to do huge amounts of damage to that Blood Crusher, and it is going to go down. Faces back into the wall, tries to get out of the firing arc, but doesn't manage to get out quick enough. And that actually puts Torpid on the back foot in this engagement, in this battle actually. So, and these heretics are extremely low. Chaos Lord tries to use for the weak, but an excellent split from Farzo. None of these units are hit, and this Chaos Lord is going to get out of there. The pressure is on Torpid at the moment. Losing his victory points that he had. However, the army is over here. These guys need to be very careful. Not sure why these lot aren't retreating. What purpose actually are they serving by staying in that engagement or hanging around? Probably trying to bait the Chaos Space Marines over, but Chaos Space Marines are very fast. They do huge amounts of damage. Manage to get another member. Will they get a second member? Will they get a third member? No, they do get a second member, but they are suppressed. This got very, very close. Manages to get suppressed by Shuriken the weapons team, and the kinetic shot from the Rangers knocks back the army. We did see a Chaos Barrage from the Chaos Dreadnought, which suppressed the these Rangers. Bright Lance is now trying to get in range, but it is completely out of range. If it had guide from the fast here, it would be able to, its range would increase and damage would increase. However, it hasn't got that because Farzo is playing as one member does go down instantly to the Bright Lance shot there, being completely shredded. Bright Launchers actually do full damage against infantry as long as they hit. However, they don't. Vehicle weapons don't have 100% accuracy. So if it did have 100% accuracy, it would basically be as dangerous as a sniper rifle. It does have 100% accuracy against vehicles and monsters, however. Now, these Chaos Space Marines taking huge amounts of damage. One of the members does go down to the Shuriken weapons team. I thought that Aspiring Champion would go down to the Warlock. Bloodlet is on the field. Bloodlet is in the Elite mod do power melee. However, in Retail they do, or Retribution, they do heavy melee, which means they do increased damage to power melee units, power rearing units, and heavy power infantry and vehicles. Grenade going down. Spike Grenade manages to take out one member. Is it the Aspiring Champion? No, it's just a normal Chaos Core Marine, and the army manages to get out of there. Bloodletters are very effective, but they do need support from heretics, and I don't believe any heretics are over here. Taking huge amounts of damage, need to be very careful. I'm not sure if Torpid is actually focusing, and his squad is probably going to go down. He's only just realised, and there goes the damage from the sniper, right, from the Rangers and the Guardians team. Finishing off that finishing off those heretics, and those heretics are going to need to be repurchased. Chaos Lord manages to retreat out of there, knocking back the Warlock, buying time for his Bloodletters to escape easily. The Mercy Switchblade does do energy damage on infantry or any target it actually attacks. I'm not sure if that actually counts for vehicles as well, but I think it actually only affects infantry. This Bright Lance is going to be flanked. Huge jump on the from the Bloodletters onto these Rangers. However, that heavy weapons team was there set up in an excellent position, preventing him from doing full damage. Excellent flank from Torpid. Will he be able to wipe out the squad? And unfortunately, no, the squad just managed to escape due to the barrage attack from that Chaos Dreadnought. Allows that squad to get out of there. Warlock is going to do huge amounts of damage to both squads. There's Heart of Darkness, I think, that gives you health back, restores energy and health. As long as you take damage. And here comes the damage. Look at the damage from those Wraith Guards. Manages to snipe the Aspiring Champion, and there he is bleeding from his chest, splurting blood. Huge crater around him. One of the members actually does manage to go down. The Warlock manages to escape out of that. And And again, this generator farm is going to be destroyed by the Chaos Dreadnought. And so far, this is an excellent game. We've seen some really good plays. We do see a Galaxy Burn on this Eldar Warp Gate, but I think Torpid thought it's been destroyed and probably hasn't realised that it still has 5 hit points left. Grenade used on that squad manages to get 1 member. I don't think it wipes him out. Manages to escape out of there without losing a member. Snipers are there trying to pick up a member on these Chaos Space Marines, and both squads are forced to free. One of the I'm just going to call them Die Avengers because I can't help it. Die Avenger squad did actually end up losing a member in retreat against that Chaos Dreadnought. One of the things I haven't seen Torpid do in this battle is use globals. Now the fact that Farzo has quite a lot of setup teams, or teams that, such as Rangers and these 2 sub teams here, using Malignant Blindness, which is the first globe of the Chaos army, which is unique to the Chaos Lords. They prevent, I think it reduces sight range to 5 or something like very, very small. They can't see around them, which means they won't be able to see. It's very good for ambushing. They can't see squads that jump around them. So basically, if he had used that ability, that setup team that was set up here would not be able to see him, and he probably could have wiped out the Rangers almost instantly. So this Chaos Lord has been upgraded with the Dark Halo, which basically allows him to swap damage taken for energy rather than health, which he isn't using right now, but he probably could be using. Combi Bolter is in range and is taking out those squads, manages to take out 1 member, but we're still not using his shield, which he should be using right now to protect him, and these guys are probably just going to retreat out of there. I'm sure Farzo is focused on this engagement and is going to move out of there. If does manage to end up losing a member, however. And will we see Kill the Weak? No, just Kill the Weak is not baited out. Torpid doesn't use it, but he's going to have to be very careful now. Only 212 hit points left on his Chaos Lord, and he should probably just drop his shield at this moment so it can actually recharge. Generator is going to go down. I keep forgetting their names. Wraithguard. And Warlock attacking these heretics whilst they were trying to repair that Chaos Dreadnought. But look at the damage on it, being upgraded with their Aspiring Champion, trying to heal that Crusader survivability. These Rangers being used very well, manages to get a member, jumps in behind this weapons team. Are they going to go in there? But however, there is a gate here that Farzo can use. Is he going to retreat and use the squad? No, he manages to use the gate and jump into there quickly. And the squad takes huge amounts of damage from those Wraith Guards. This team is bunched together, going to be suppressed if they use range. Will the heavy weapons team manage to save the squad? They do. Connect shot also saving the Warlock from increased damage there. But these one of the things you should note about the Wraith Guard is that they actually do friendly fire to their own units. And you saw there one of the squads, one of the members, and that was the Warlock that just went down, which decreases the speed of the unit and also stuns them, which you can see about that little spiral there. But here comes a Fire Prism. Didn't even realise that Farzo had teched up to tier 2. Look at the resources. Torpid's not far behind, got huge amounts of power but hardly any requisition because he's taking so much bleed from his models and from his heretics. And suddenly the victory points are extremely low for Torpid. Now there was a point in this game where I really thought Torpid had it, particularly in the beginning engagement. However, I think he just took too many losses, and this squad, this Avenger squad, one of them, which one I'm not sure, I think it's this one, that continuously decaps, and that is what Eldar are really good for. Picking their fights, avoiding confrontation, and avoiding fights they can't actually take, and using these gates to get around the map quickly. So there are the warp gates hidden. This one is detected by Wasn't actually sure what I was even detected by. Actually, he probably just saw that appearing on the field, and we do see double blood letters coming on the field here, and they are very effective, particularly when used in conjunction with Chaos Space Marines, especially Core Marines, a fully Corn army despite his inch Chaos Dreadnought. So time is ticking for Torpid. Needs to bring his arm together. Needs to wipe out this Fire Prism, or at least one of these setup teams. Needs to use Malignant Blindness basically to give him the upper hand. But needs to use it. Needs to be in a good position before Farzo will just retreat off the field. Probably retreat all his units rather than losing them again. Huge amounts of damage going off on that weapons. Those blood letters, but these guys are in trouble. They do retreat into their warp gate, escaping into the warp. These these guardsmen, these rangers being flanked by the team, but these Chaos Space Marines also taking huge amounts of damage from those rangers. And look at the damage from these blood letters, and that is going to be a dead Fire Prism. Well played by Torpid for flanking in there, but loses 3 members on his Corn Marines and only escaping with the Aspiring Champion out of there. And this Dreadnought is also going to go down. Here it goes down to the I think that was to the Wraith Guards, and the piercing damage from the snipers and the power melee damage from the Warlock. And there goes the squad. However, he manages to wipe out the Bright Lance team, although that unit was basically useless, had basically done its job. And this puts Torpid in, I would say, equal footing. However, he has lost that Dreadnought, and a second Fire Prism is coming out onto the field. Probably could put some more generators down to increase his power. He needs more power. His resources aren't looking that great at the moment. 13 power, 44 income. It's actually better than Torpid's, although Torpid has a lot of power saved in his bank. And we do see a power bash. Looks like it's going to go down. But at this point, it's pretty much pointless. Torpid obviously doesn't have much requisition. We do see Pathfinder War Gear on those Rangers, using invisibility to hide this squad from melee, and it looks like they're going to be chased by the Chaos Space Marines. However, I'm not sure what that War Gear is called, but it also can be used on other units as well. So it's not just limited to Eldar units; it's also usable on enemy units as well. Looks like Torpid's trying to get rid of this warp gate, but this Fire Prism is going to probably try and prevent him from doing that. Going to be jumped in before. Let me just go down here quickly. Oh, look at these heretics taking huge amounts of damage. Probably going to be taken out in retreat. No, will they escape? 13-3, 2 hit points, and they do go down. However, this Warp Prism is taking huge amounts of damage. Needs to get out of there. Not being used. Where's the support from the Die Avengers? Sorry, from the Die Avengers and the Heavy Weapons team. Managing to get out of there. So luckily, the Warlock saving that squad. And will they get out of here, or will they go down? No, they managed to get out just in time. Only losing 1 member. And this looks like this is that's be a really, really good game. Let the Galaxy Burn was used on a few of those Die Avenger squads, killing some of the members. And the Bloodletters, okay, they're going to jump in behind this team, and unless he can move forward, regardless he's trapped, that is probably going to be a dead squad. Path blocked by the Chaos Space Marines, and there it goes, out of control, flies into the corner, it's going to explode, boom, there it goes. All the guys inside are probably burning and dying, screaming. Okay. Grenade goes down on these Bloodletters. They use phase shift to get out of there. No, that's not phase shift, that's increased damage, but obviously some of these members aren't attacking because they aren't in combat. And look at the damage from the Autarch's destruction, from the Autarch's attack. Probably can get all 3 members if he uses swift movement. And that member's gonna go down. Well, the member gonna die. Oh, I can't even speak up so quickly. The Bloodletters do go down to a special attack from the Warlock, and there goes a Chaos Space Marine, and look at that, 1 engagement, and Torpid has lost almost all of his army, not back from the Chaos Bloodletters. Gonna wipe out one of those members. Heretics now being purchased, but he has so much requisition, but so much power, but no requisition. And this like it's going to be GG. Really good game from both players, and I think we're probably going to see GG here soon. 2 gates, no, 3 gates? 3 gates? Well, 3 gates, no, sorry, 2 gates, that's part of the building. So 2 gates here, another gate down there, one more down there. So got a final charge from Torpid, going to try and kill off these squads, but look at the damage from those Wraith guards. AoE damage doing huge amounts of damage. I'm not saying damage, but to these heretics. The heavy weapons team finally goes down, but it's too late. Chaos Lord going for his final battle against the Autarch. Probably can use Kill the Weak. Autarch being upgraded with the singing, also Executioner's Blade. Let the Galaxy Burn, not very accurate, but does manage to knock down the squads. But I think they're level 4 Rangers. That's actually very surprising. And there's the game. GG, well played by both players. Farzo takes it quite convincingly, actually. Victory points were quite low. Torpid managed to get Farzo down quite a bit, however just lost too many squads, didn't use globals, and I think that's probably why he came out that's probably why Farzo came out on top. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon.